Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you happen to be looking at It's Naturally Not. And I'm glad that you're back. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Today, I was going to continue with my rhubarb series, but I'm going to save that for the next video because life just changes, and I'm going to show you a really nice, simple, quick salad that you can make that's super delicious, whether it be summer or whether it be fall or early fall when it's kind of hot. And I'm going to have that with Dan the cameraman later, and so we decided we were going to change it around and switch the video order. What I got here is just a simple salad, and it's simple cold salad, and what I got in this thing here is about 3 chicken tenders, about a half to 2/3 cup of you should normally use mayo, but what I got here is Miracle Whip because that's all I have on hand today. Then I have some finely diced fresh celery and the leaves and the onions, okay? The chicken, what I did was I thawed it out, and then I put it on a sheet pan with some good olive oil, some salt and some pepper, and I baked it about, chicken tenders aren't very big, but I'd say probably about 35-40 minutes. Then I let it cool down, keep the juices in there, and give it a rough chop so they look like what I have here in the bowl. And this is a great salad to make. It's super easy and it comes together fast once you got your chicken tenders cooked. So what I'm going to add to it now is, normally I would say you'd want slivered, about this much slivered almonds. And I don't have particular amounts for this today because this is a recipe that I completely wing it. And this is for 2 to 3 people, so small recipe. You would just add more of everything if you wanted it for 4 or 5 people. Normally I like slivered almonds, and then I toast them in a skillet with no oil. But I was out of those too. So I just used a variety of nuts that I had in my freezer, which are slivered almonds, regular almonds, and I had some cashews. So, always try to make do with what you got. Don't deviate too far from the recipe, but I think this is best with just slivered almonds. But again, I didn't have any. So I'm going to save a few for the topping, maybe, perhaps. And I'm going to put almost all of these. I'll just go ahead and dump these in here now. Normally this recipe that I do, I just use grapes as the fruit in here, but I had an old apple in the refrigerator that needed to get used up, so I chopped him up, part of him. I gave the other part of him to my little doggy, who is laying there on the floor asleep right now, being good for the moment. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add this in here, and then the next thing I'm going to do, and this is a trick I've seen a lot of chefs do, to just quickly cut grape tomatoes or quickly cut grapes. You put whatever kind of plastic lid you have, like Tupperware or Ziploc or whatever, over them, and then press down. Take your knife, run it what through you are guessing is hopefully the middle, and did it do it? It did for the most part. It's just a nice quick way to cut most of your small round, whether it be grapes or your small round cherry tomatoes real quick. Now I didn't cut all of them, but I wasn't planning on doing that, and so I missed a few, and I don't do it very often. It doesn't have to be perfect anyway. These particular grapes are just the kind that happen to be on sale at the store. You can use the light green kind, the white kind, the dark red kind, whatever. I don't think it really matters. Just like throwing an apple in there, I think it's all good.
These ones are black grapes because they were closest to me at hand when I went shopping.
There we go. You heard it from Daniel. And it looks like I made most of those go through the pass once, cutting them, which is great. I only missed a few. Then again, I haven't done this little trick in a while. I missed about 10. Good enough. Good to go. So you throw that all in here. Here's what we got. Look at it. Looks like nothing right now. I'm going to go get my tarragon out of the refrigerator. I'm going to rinse it, chop it, and we'll be right back, and I'll show you how it all comes together. Okay, I'm right back. All I did was I got my tarragon out of the fridge, gave her a good rinse, gave it a good rough chop here. I'd say I'd have somewhere around, maybe a tablespoon, I'd say. Again, this isn't any set in stone recipe. This is just me winging it. So the nice thing about tarragon is one of those weird herbs you don't use a lot, and it has kind of, in my opinion, a licoricey taste to it. And for some reason, it goes really well with chicken. I used to be a thyme person when it came to chicken, but I thought I'd try tarragon. I'd seen it in different television programs being used, and I was skeptical because I don't really like licorice, but it works in this dish. So I'm going to give this a good stir, and then what we're gonna do is and this is what you should do if you are making this at home, is you should, after you mix everything together, you should kind of let it set for an hour in the fridge to let the flavors marry, and then check for seasonings before you use it. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give her a big stir. Now, one thing to remember is if you're gonna pepper that chicken before you roast it and salt it, don't get nutso right here with the seasonings of salt, so you don't end up making it too salty, especially if you have people who have to watch their their blood pressure or whatever. You don't want to make it too salty. But this looks kind of pretty good right here. Again, I used Miracle Whip instead of mayonnaise just because that's what I happen to have today. That might be just a little titch dry, but I like mine not too overdone with any kind of mayo or Miracle Whip, simply because, I didn't mean to say Miracle Whip, I mean salad dressing, so we'll have to pretend I didn't say that. I don't like it too heavy because that just adds tons of calories and it takes away from the seasonings, the herbs, and the flavor. But I'm going to put this in the fridge, and I'll see you in an hour when I plate up. So things have changed, and the pie that I made that was supposed to go to the bike shop is not going to go to the bike shop, and we're going to cut into it, and we're actually going to eat a piece. So stay tuned for the next video. You can see it plated and see what it looks like. See you then. Hi, I'm back, and I went ahead and I let the chicken salad take its time marrying the flavors in the refrigerator, and it is ready to go. And then I promised you that the video, or the picture of the pie, there's the pie from the last video. Came out pretty good. Here it is for our cameraman to eat after we finish eating here for dessert.
Can't wait.
And I think it came out really good. Now, what I would do differently next time is the dye didn't spread out like the way I really would, or the food coloring, excuse me, didn't spread out the way I wanted to. So next time I put in my notes, and you should always keep notes on your index cards for your cooking, then I'm going to put it like this instead of in the center, because it didn't quite spread out. It has a cute little red nose on him, but I kind of wanted that red color throughout, so I'm going to remember now next time to do that. So there you go, as promised, for the pie, and we'll see you in the next video, which is rhubarb. Rhubarb crisp. But before we go, I forgot to mention another thing you can do with rhubarb is make liqueur, and maybe I'll do that if we have time yet this year. If not, I made this in 2019. It's still good. Yeah, it looks cloudy, but you have to admit that's a really pretty pink color, and that's another fun thing you can do with rhubarb. But we'll see you next time with the rhubarb crisp.